What's up, YouTube? My name is Lincoln Rogers. I am a photographer, videographer, and creative guy. I'm an advertising student at the University of Illinois and an art student. But most importantly, I'm a guy who kind of knows how to use Adobe Illustrator. So today we're going to be doing some illustrating, some Adobe illustrating. So I am a super mega nerd, and I love to play Dungeons and Dragons, and I've been playing for a few months now. I've been, dungeon mastering, I've been DMing, I've been playing. Recently, I've begun to make maps for my games, and that has been really fun. So now that we are quarantined, and I am no longer a student at U of I, I'm a student at Zoom University. I thought I would make a little video, do some map stuff for you here. So let's get into it. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so I've got up here my Illustrator, my Adobe Illustrator, with the map of the full world, the full Dungeons and Dragons world that I created. Obviously, Faerun is already a map that has been, or a world that has been thought of, designed by the wonderful people who created Dungeons and Dragons and who are always, making new amazing stuff for people to experience. So I've taken Faerun, I've modified it a little bit for my needs. I've cut some stuff out, I've added some stuff. And then I've added a couple more lands, and that's, neither here nor there. But today, if I zoom in here, today we're going to be doing a city map for this guy right here, the city of Narrowpeak. And so Narrowpeak is a city in this trollbark forest, and this is a city that's embedded into this forest. It's got one road in, broad stream passage, and it's sitting on a coast. So it should be pretty fun to map out. A couple other things that I've thought of for this city. I want it to be kind of ruled by this entity called the Mother, which is, who knows what that means, right? It could mean anything. But, it sounds fun, and we'll figure it out when we get there, right? So, let's get right into it here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go create a new Illustrator document. And I like to start with this right here. It's already selected. It's a 4,000 by 3,000 point Illustrator document. And that's pretty big. Pretty hefty, but the reason why that's going to be good is because then it's going to have a lot of resolution. We're going to be able to zoom way into that document. When we share it, with the players, we can, really get in small with those details, and it's going to be real good. So let's we're going to just create one of those 4,000 by 3,000 documents, and so we've got this nice white canvas for us here. I'd like to start, since this is a forest map, I'm just going to lay down a rectangle just to get off of this white canvas here. So we're just going to lay down that rectangle on the full, size of the canvas. And then I'm going to open up here you can see here I've got the map in here, and over here I've got another city map, the Raven's Keep city map, which we actually don't need, so I'm just going to close that out so my computer doesn't die. So we're going to go in here, we're going to go to our color libraries, and we're going to find right here, we've got a nature folder, and we're going to use the foliage colors. Yeah, so we've got lots of nice, oh come on, my camera's going to keep, we're back. So we've got lots of nice green colors in here. So let's choose maybe a lighter one to start, something that could be kind of a ground layer, like this. We'll see if, yeah, I like that. Maybe we do this one. Yeah, I like that one a little bit better. So we're gonna take that color, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna we have that on a layer. We're gonna rename that layer Terrain 1. That's gonna be our base layer, and we're just gonna lock that because we want this layer to just be, basically our background. So I'm gonna go in here, I'm gonna create a new layer. And now I'm gonna start, let's see, I know that this city is on a coast, so let's put in the water. So I'm really just gonna use the most basic tools here. I've got my curvature tool right here, and I'm just gonna draw in a little coastline. We can go back to the full map and kind of zoom in here and we see, all right, so the coastline kind of curves down out to the left like that. So let's go in here. We want room for our city. So maybe we start here, right there. I can hear my camera trying to unfocus from my face. Don't like that. So we're just gonna click, and as we click and move the mouse, that curvature will really come in, and maybe we get some broad ones, and then we get some, closer ones. We kind of come down here a little bit to the left, like the coast does on the map, and we'll just finish out right there. Then I'm gonna switch to my regular pen tool here. Go ahead and click on that guy to continue building the shape, and then I'm just gonna finish that out along the edges of the artboard there. So now I've got the shape. This is on its own layer, it's above the background, and I'm just gonna I'm gonna give that some blue, give it some water. So to do that, we don't really have any good colors over here. So I've actually already got this open, sorry. But this is a beach color library. So I'm gonna try out some of these colors. So we got that blue, and this blue that I've got on the overall map, it's a lot darker, it's a lot duller of a blue than this is here. But I think that's okay. I think maybe this is a little bit of a brighter ocean, part of the ocean, maybe, or just closer to the coast. So it's going to be a little bit brighter, and I like that color. Oh, but what's this over here? Maybe this one's better. Ooh. I'm going to go with this one. Okay. So we've got this coast now. And I have a few ideas for this kind of water area of the map. I'm thinking we put some, cool buildings over there. It doesn't have to be empty space. We could have some, maybe, this is a city built into a forest, so maybe it's also kind of integrated with the water. Maybe there are some buildings sitting out on the water. We know that this city, Narrowpeak, is built into the forest. So I think what we should do, well, first of all, let's do this. We're gonna lock down that layer with the water, and we're just gonna call that coast, if I can spell, coast. Make a new layer, and this will be the forest. We're gonna start putting in a forest here so that we can have, kind of the container for our city. We know that this city is a part of the forest, so it's going to be pretty important to have that forest in there. So I'm just going to start by kind of tracing out the coast there, not too much, and then I'm just going to come right here. Sometimes it's tricky to get these, because you see if I go here, as I drag, I'm now losing that path. So I'm just going to go to my regular pen tool, so I get a little bit of a right angle there. I'm going to pull it up this way, and then I'm going to go back to my curvature tool so that I can bring it up. I'm going to zoom out so I get a better view. I'm going to bring it up like this, and you see it's creating this blue now. It's doing the blue because I have the color selected, but we're going to change that in a minute. So if I go back to my map here, I see that the one road into this city, which is an important thing to remember, is this broad stream passage is coming from, northeast at a pretty steep angle. So I'm gonna come out here and I'm just gonna make a space for that to happen up here. I'm going to go back to my regular pen tool and I'm just going to close that up. And then I'm going to go back to my foliage art library, my color library, and I'm going to pick a nice dark green for that. And I think that looks pretty nice. So that's kind of that top area of the forest, but obviously we need more. So I'm going to start up here with more curvature, and I'm just going to make a real kind of random, just kind of clicking, letting it flow, random shape around here. And I don't want to take up too much space of the map, so we're going to try this right here. Okay, we've got that. Let's go back to our regular pen tool so we can get a sharper angle on this. We're just going to go right there and then go back to our curvature tool so we can follow this coastline just like that, all the way down to the bottom. Go back to our regular pen tool so we can get these edges in. We're just going to go right over, corner there, corner here, and right there. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. So now we have kind of a forest ringing our city area. So let's get in here now with some roads. So I'm going to make a new layer. I'm going to lock in that forest layer. So we're really building up our background here with these 3 layers, terrain 1, coast, and forest, and we're locking those down because we don't really want to edit them. We don't want to have them getting in the way of the other things that we're going to be doing here. So that's going to be pretty easy. We're just going to have those locked, and then you can see here the pen tool has a little circle with cross through it saying not going to work. So you can see that we've got those locked. We're not going to have to worry about changing or making those. And so now we've kind of got this task of starting to create the city. And I don't really have anything planned for this city other than, I know I want it to be a part of the forest, and I know that I want to have some sort of almost a cult led by this figure named the Mother. So I'm thinking that we're going to need to have, a place where she lives or operates out of, a place where she rules from. And then I'm going to need to have, various kind of guard posts that are built into the forest, especially where that road enters the city, because that's going to be the only way in, and that's a big characteristic of this city. The question is, where do we start, right? And I think we're going to start with the roads. I think we're going to do that before anything safe. So now I'm going to get in here with my curvature tool again, and I'm just going to start first. New layer, roads, real easy. I'm going to get in here with the curvature tool, and I'm just going to start tracing out a path. And I'm thinking we've got a kind of interesting shape laid out for us here. So I'm just going to follow this tree line, and I'm going to follow the coastline down and around like this. Give it a little bit of a sharper turn down there. Come up here. Am I going to go in here? No. I'll just come out here. And I will then bring this back up, and I'm not going to reconnect it just yet. But so now I've got this big green shape, and that's not what we want, right? This is a road. So I'm actually going to come up here. I'm going to get rid of the fill, and I'm going to go into the stroke. And for the road color, I don't know what we want. We're going to look for something. So we're going to go into our libraries here, and we're going to look at maybe some nature, maybe some stone and brick. Let's see what this looks like, that color. I like that. So if the problem now is we've got that filled, right? That's a fill color instead of a stroke color. We want the stroke. So I'm going to make sure that I have no stroke selected, and then I'm just going to Shift X, and that's going to switch the fill and the stroke. Shift X. And so obviously this is a 1-point stroke. If I click away, it's a 1-point stroke, and it's in there, but it's real thin. That's not really what we want. So we're going to just bump that up here in the menu until it's at a nice weight. That looks pretty good. We're at 17. That's nice. And so now, just to close this road, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to hit A to bring up my direct selection tool. And I'm just going to click on this last anchor, and then I'm going to drag that right up so that it intersects with the road there. Now we've got this seamless road that kind of travels all around our area here and reconnects back to itself up at the top right. And so I think we're going to, I'm really feeling maybe like a central, almost circular area. And I think maybe that'll be where the government building is. That's where the mother lives or whatever, So I'm not making a circle because I want things to feel a little bit more organic than that. And I'm just kind of making a random shape here that's generally, round. And I'm going to close it right back up there. And I like that. So that's kind of our central area. And now maybe we have this, we've got this circular thing going on, and obviously we need roads to connect this to this. So maybe we do like a concentric circle type deal. So maybe we've got one more road in here. And this is, again, this is super broad, kind of just layers of this city here, and we'll get way more detailed as we go. But if we just have these concentric roads connect up like that, and it's almost starting to look like a topographical map now, but these are just roads. So now let's think, how do these roads connect broadly? And I think that the way that they would connect, because if you've got, a vehicle turning off, you want to have sort of these peel-offs of road here, maybe that connect back to each other like that. And we'll do one on the other side too, for, if a wagon or whatever medieval fantasy vehicle is coming from, that direction. And notice how I'm not connecting these ends. The reason that I'm doing that is because I don't want to click back on those paths because it's just going to mess everything up. Why? I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a graphic designer. I'm not an expert in Illustrator. I just know that when you click on the paths, it gets real funky, and I don't want stuff to get funky. Not the bad kind of funky, at least. So I'm going to go in here again with my direct selection tool. I'm just tapping A to get to that, selecting this anchor and only this anchor, just dragging it up, intersecting it with that path. And now we've got a nice seamless little thing there. Real nice. I'll do that again down here. Oop, I missed it by just a tear here. You can see here when it intersects, because that whole path will light up, and you just connect it just like that. So now we've got that sort of road here, road connection. And I'm looking at it. Do I like it? Maybe let's try a different option. Now, see what would happen if we just took curvature and we just kind of did a straight up road, just like that. What would happen then? How would that look? So we're just gonna go in there with direct selection. We're gonna connect those ends. I think I like that a little bit better. So I'm actually gonna get rid of these. Just delete them. And I'm gonna come in here with a curvature. And you know what? Maybe I'm making bigger sections. So maybe this actually comes out like right there. And then I connect those back up. Almost like that road is splitting. Yeah, I think that makes a little bit more sense, doesn't it? Okay, so I've got some roads in here. And I'm just gonna keep connecting these concentric circles. I think 3 big ones is a good amount. But I'm just gonna get in here. I'm gonna get in here with the curvature tool, same thing we've been doing. And I'm just gonna connect these at some natural points. So maybe right here there's one, kind of where this point happens. Maybe it goes over here and comes back down to connect there. yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about that so far. It almost looks like some kind of web, which is cool. That's fun. I think what we need is some beach areas. This is in the south coast of the world that we've created. And if you see these over here, these are just these are icons that I've pulled from Google. I've vectorized them, and I got these over here just for when we start putting in buildings and stuff like that. Notable buildings, we have icons. So we're gonna go back to our Narrowpeak here. We're gonna save. We're gonna add a beach is what we're gonna do. So I'm going to come in here. I'm actually going to add another layer underneath the roads because I think the beach is a little bit more of a, I'm going to lock the roads down. The beach is a little bit more of a background. So I'm going to go back to my beach color library, grab a sand color, and I'm going to get in here with my curvature tool. I'm just going to trace out this coastline, and it's giving me that stroke. We'll get rid of that later. It's giving me the road stroke. We don't want that, obviously, on the beach. So now we have this beach, and we're gonna get rid of the stroke just by going up here, taking it out. We've got some areas that are not overlapping. That's okay, that just means that we missed points on that path. So what I'm gonna do there, I'm just gonna get in there and fix that by clicking on the path, adding a point, and dragging it out. You know what? Here's what I think this city needs right now. I think it needs some roads connecting it to the forest, right? Because if we've got a city built into the forest, then I think, people are probably going to want some roads going into forests. Just going to get back in here on the roads layer. Okay, so now we've got lots of roads running throughout, connecting things to other things the way that roads do. And I'm actually thinking we need another circle in here of road. So I'm just gonna add something a little bit more round, not totally round, but just like that. And this center circle is going to be where the main building, the place where the mother lives, whoever she ends up being, whether she is good or evil or whatever. We don't know yet. We're just creating a framework for her to exist in, so that when our players get here, we can have that framework, and we can actually have a world for them to exist in and to play in, and that just makes the game feel more real. It makes it more fun, because it actually feels like there's a depth to what the story that you're engaging in. It makes it feel more lifelike, and it allows you to let your players exist in a place that has an open quality to it. You are not just forcing them down one path. There's actually, lots of things they can do. You give them a map of a city and you say, here's the city, explore. And then you have, various things that maybe you don't have them super planned out, but you have a general framework of how you want them to look. So you can, use that as they explore your city to build a story and to make it a really good one. And that's what we're trying to do, right? We're trying to make good stories.